Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game. What's good, people? So, listen, I got to tell you guys, when you're out here and you're talking to girls and you're trying to make stuff happen, right? You have to realize that the stuff that you are learning here and the stuff that I teach you, right? It's supposed to basically help you to develop your skills and develop your own thing, meaning you guys should not be basically copying and pasting what I'm telling you. So what I mean is, I get dudes who hit me up and they'll say, yo, that last video you did, you were talking about direct gain and you said that you would approach a girl and say this, and that, right? So then he'll be like, I said the same exact thing you said and it didn't work. And I'm like, why are you saying the exact same thing I'm saying? Right? See, when I teach you certain things, what I'm teaching you is the basics of what that thing is about. So if I say, when you approach a woman directly, I might give you an example. I might say, hey, when I go up to a girl, I'll say, hey, look, you're looking really hot. I thought you're really attractive. That's the reason I came over here. I got to run, but I really want you to give me your number right now so I can hit you up later, whatever, right? So then a guy would hear me saying that as an example, and then he will use that same exact thing I'm saying and say it to a girl. But the thing is, I'm not telling you to say what I'm saying. I am giving you the example of what a direct, situation would look like. So basically, what you need to take from it is basically the definition, meaning you are just blatantly letting a girl know that you're into her. So that's all you have to remember, is that if you're doing this, you're blatantly letting a girl know that you're into her. You do not have to, copy and paste what I'm saying to the chick. And the reason why sometimes it doesn't work if you're doing this is because when you're saying this to the girl, it's not coming from you. You understand? See, the point of the game is for you to learn, certain basic things, right? And once you learn that, you apply it to yourself. So you come up with your own stuff based off of the principles of what's being taught. See, the thing is that a lot of you guys sort of just, you want to know exactly what to say, and that's not really helping you. Because when you are copying off of what I'm saying in an example, what you're doing is you are saying this to the girl. So let's say you say exactly what I said to a chick and it works, right? What's going to happen is that interaction that you're having with her, let's say you get her number and let's say she even goes on a date with you. What's going to happen is in most cases, she is not going to hit you back or call you back or whatever. Things are, might not work out how it's supposed to. Why? Because when she met you, the stuff that you were saying wasn't really you. So now when you're on this date with her, you don't have that same vibe that you did when she first met you, because the vibe you're trying to come across with wasn't you in the first place. This is why I'm saying you have to develop yourself. You have to work on yourself, and you use these tools to come up with your own shit. This is why when guys try to give you pickup lines and all this other stuff, it hardly ever works because it doesn't come off authentic. You understand? The energy you put out there is important. And the way that you come across has to be consistent. So if you've been listening to videos I've done and I'm giving you examples of, certain things when I'm talking about a specific topic, and you're using the exact words and phrases that I'm using in these examples for yourself, a lot of times it's not going to come across how it needs to, because that's not you. See, the game is about you and you developing your own style using the basics and using the things that we're talking about. Not necessarily you saying exactly what I'm saying, but you basically understanding the principle of what we're talking about. Right? So if I'm telling you when you're having a conversation with a girl, to make the conversation continue and to keep going, to ask her questions, right? And I'm giving an example of, if I was saying, hey, you got to ask a girl questions. You can say stuff like, so where you from? And then she'll be like, oh, I'm from Kentucky. And then the next principle is use words that she said in her answer to follow up with another question. So you say, hey, where you from? She's like, oh, I'm from Kentucky. Oh, really? Kentucky? What's going on in Kentucky? I've never been there, right? So you're using that word to follow up, right? So now, if a guy is going word from what I'm saying, he's going to be asking a girl, hey, where you from? And he's probably going to end up thinking she's supposed to say Kentucky. This is literally how certain guys have emailed me and hit me up and said, hey, I said that thing you said, but then she said something different. Really? You think? Because, dude, yeah, you got to understand, you can't just cut and paste the game. The game is for you to learn so that you can apply it to your specific situation. Right? There's guidelines for you to follow, but you have to come up with your own stuff. See, the problem is that, dudes don't want to work on themselves and work on their skill because they just sort of want to put things here, put things there, and then expect things to work out. See, the reason why a lot of guys don't have success is because they're just trying to, follow things word for word. They're not really in the moment. They're not coming up with their own style of really making things go down. And that's how you learn. That's how you practice. That's how you get better, because it's going to be more authentic when it's coming from you. Right? So if I'm saying when you have a conversation with a girl, you can ask her questions, come up with your own questions. You understand? Because when you come up with your own questions, then you're going to notice that, okay, I notice when I usually ask girls this thing a lot of the times. And when I usually ask this thing, girls respond this way. When I usually ask this, girls respond that way in certain cases. And you try out new things. You see how these other things work. You see how certain things don't work. And then you basically have a better situation when you're dealing with girls in the future, because you're working on your verbal skills and you're using the guidelines of asking a girl a question to work with that. But if I give you an example of 3 questions, I don't want you to just sit there and literally use those 3 questions all the time, because after you ask that 3rd question or whatever it is, then it's like, you're like, oh God, what do I do next? I don't know what to do next. There's no more questions. I followed exactly what Mr. Lucario said in his examples, and now I don't know what to do. Because you're coming at the game all wrong. Right? And the thing is, you have to learn how to do it yourself. Basically understand how to implement this yourself, because you're going to be in a whole bunch of situations where there's going to be a lot of curveballs thrown at you as far as stuff the girl says back to you. And then you got to follow up. Then you got to, and then let's say, for example, you get some girl's number. She wants to go on a date with you, right? At some point, she's going to start to see the real you, because she's hanging out with you for an extended period of time. So if you were saying some pickup lines or you was using some examples from what you heard me or somebody else say, and let's say that got you the girl's number and she decides to go out with you, she's coming off the basis of thinking that that's how you are. Because let's say you said some clever shit that you heard somebody else say or you heard me say, and then she's gonna be like, oh my God, this guy's so funny. He's so clever. Then she goes on a date with you. You ain't got no more clever shit to say. Why? Because that was not coming from you. You was just copying shit. You know, I remember when I was in school, I took this exam, and I'm sitting next to my friend, and the professor passed out the sheets, and then they had like the little Scantron things we have to circle, like A, B, C, and D or whatever like that, right? So my friend, he copies off me. He's looking at the Scantron from like he's sitting next to me. He's looking over his my shoulder or whatever, and he's basically circling everything I'm circling, right? So next thing you know, we get back the results of the test. I passed. I got like a 90 something, and he got like a 40 something, right? So he's confused. He's like, what the fuck? How the hell did you get a 90 and I got a 40 and I copied everything you copied? You put down, right? And what he didn't know was that the professor passed out like the same test, but the questions were, rearranged in different orders. So my number 1 was probably his number 3. You understand? And then so everything was out of order. So what I was writing down wasn't the same thing that he needed to write down, because our tests were in different order. But he was just copying off of me because he was like, oh, well, let me just do this so I can, pass. So this is exactly what you guys are doing. If you're just copying, if you're just cutting and pasting it, if you're just doing it that way, you're going to run into trouble, because you're going to be in different situations where that doesn't apply, where it's not going to work. And even if it does work in that little moment, you're going to have to follow up if the girl keeps wanting to see you. And guess what? You're not going to appear to be the same person she met that day. So you guys have to understand that you have to study the game and apply it to you. All right, now before you click off this video, I need you to do 3 quick things. First, I need you to click the link below to send me your questions, because if you have any questions, I'll answer them in a video. 2, click the link under that to get my free ebook, The Magnificent 10 Crucial Dating Tips for Men. Gives you 10 tips on how to attract beautiful women. And number 3, I want you to click the link under that to go to badboymembership.com, where you get 45 through 90-minute audio and video tutorials every month. Hey, what's up? It's dating and life coach Mr. Locario. Go to badboymembership.com and master the dating game by joining my Bad Boy Membership program. In this program, you'll receive 45 through 90-minute, easy-to-follow, step-by-step dating advice tutorials that's guaranteed to help you attract, date, and have sex with beautiful women. Join the Bad Boy Membership today by going to badboymembership.com. That's badboymembership.com.